What do the policy limits mean on your auto policy and why do they matter? Hi, I'm Tom Friedman. I'm a lawyer in Nevada, and most people have a typical insurance policy if you're in a non-PIP state that has a number of limits and deductibles on their insurance policy. So the first one I'm going to talk about is bodily injury liability. On this particular policy, it's a $100,000, $300,000 policy, which means $100,000 per person is the maximum that will be paid. So if you rear-end somebody, there's one person in the car and they sue you, the most your insurance policy will ever pay is $100,000 to that one person. So if that person has very minor injuries, maybe they'll only get paid a few $1,000s. Okay, let's say that person is severely injured, killed, maybe they're making claims for millions of dollars. Well, the most your insurance policy is ever going to pay is that $100,000 per person limit, because that's the amount of insurance you bought. Insurance policies come in all kinds of flavors. Sometimes minimums are $15,000, $30,000. Nevada, it's $25,000, $50,000 right now. Different states have different limits, but you can always buy more than the minimum limit required by the state. So in situation one, there's one person, and the most that person can ever recover from your insurance policy is the limit per person. Now, the next limit is per occurrence, and that means essentially per event. So in this situation, let's say you're driving and you rear-end 3 cars, and each car has 2 people in it, so now there's 6 people bringing claims against you. Well, the bodily injury liability per occurrence on this particular policy is $300,000. That means the policy will pay no more than $300,000, whether there's 2 people or whether there's 2,000 people. The most insurance you purchased was $300,000. The next line in many policies is property damage liability. On this particular policy, it's $100,000, so property damage is generally the damage to the other person's vehicle. Now, if you go off the road and you hit a fence or you hit some mailboxes or who knows what else, that's also considered property. So if somebody's bringing a claim against you for causing damage to property, including vehicles, as a result of an auto accident where you're at fault, the maximum limit that the insurance policy will pay is whatever's listed on your policy. On this particular policy, it's $100,000. So if I ran into somebody that had a Honda Accord, there's no way the property damage is going to exceed $100,000. However, if I ran into somebody's brand new Lamborghini and totaled it, the property damage is probably going to be substantially more than $100,000. Again, because you bought a policy with limits of $100,000, the insurance company will never pay more than that, even if the claim is bigger than that. The next line item on this particular policy is uninsured motorist or underinsured motorist. And that policy is for you, the person that purchases insurance. So what this is if you are injured by an uninsured motorist and that uninsured motorist owes you, let's say, $50,000 in damages, but that person has no assets, no insurance, you can make the claim against your own insurance policy to recover the $50,000 that the uninsured motorist owed you. Now, this goes a little bit further than that. That's for an uninsured motorist. The policies can also have underinsured motorist. So in this situation, the person that struck you caused you $50,000 in damages, but they only had a $15,000 policy. So 50,000 in damages minus a $15,000 policy leaves a remainder of $35,000 that's uncovered. So if you purchase underinsured motorist as part of your own policy, your policy will pay the remaining $35,000 that the at-fault driver owed you. Again, like all limits, your policy will never pay you more money than you purchased. So if you purchased $50,000 in uninsured motorist, but you have $5 million in claims, your own insurance policy will never pay you more than the $50,000. Can you buy more than $50,000? You probably can, but whatever you purchase as your policy limit is going to be the most the insurance company is going to voluntarily pay. The last couple things on the policy are not really limits. That talks about deductibles for comprehensive and collision. Comprehensive insurance is damage to your vehicle not caused by a collision. So a tree falling on it, in this particular policy, it's a $250 deductible. So what that means is if your car requires $1,000 in repairs, you pay the first $250 and the insurance company would pay the other $750. The collision insurance is the same thing. You look at what your deductible is. That means your car was in a collision, and in order to get that car repaired, it's going to cost money. And in this particular policy, the deductible is $750. So you would pay $750 of whatever it costs to repair your car. If you have any questions, please feel free to drop me an email. Thanks very much for watching.